I've had dreams of this. I've had absolute dreams of making the most pay to win game that you could ever play, to where you could just spend money all day and guarantee your win. I think that would probably be the best game ever created. Said absolutely nobody ever. So why in the world are MMOs this way, right? Why do companies continue to make MMOs in a extremely pay to win way? Now I do get it, different countries, different rules, different ways of life, and things like that. If you're making an MMO and your country is really prevalent in the pay to win aspect, then okay, make it pay to win. Who cares, right? But what irritates me is why is it that the West in particular, or I'm not going to say the West in particular, I'm going to say the US in particular, is terrible at making MMOs or terrible at making MMO decisions. I really don't understand it in the slightest. And it irritates me because I love MMOs probably more than a lot of people do, because it's just fun. I like seeing the ability to progress your character and physically being able to tell the progress that you made. That's why I love them so much. I love being able to see the progress. So it's insanely annoying when it's like, guys, new MMOs coming out. Oh, it's bad. How? How? You guys can copy and paste old mechanics and people would be okay with it. Like, obviously, everybody's going to have a little bit of their own little say, their own little dip into the cookie jar, I guess you could say, their own little tip in where they have to be like, oh, well, I don't like this aspect of the game. Okay, fair enough. But 99% of people like the Western MMOs that are already out, right? Or the few that are out. I guess World of Warcraft is probably the only one I'll really say. So if people love World of Warcraft so much, why are we just modeling actual games? I don't mean let's copy and paste World of Warcraft. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying why don't we get like a World of Warcraft but action combat? Oh, I just blew everybody's mind. Whoa. Barely to little no pay to win outside of like maybe being able to pay for gold. You get action combat and unlimited skins and mounts. Whoa. If you take my idea, I'm suing. I'm kidding. But it's just like it's so weird. Like that idea alone sets you up for success. And then you just get like an actual good story, right? Like I write stories for fun in my meantime playing Dungeons and Dragons. So how can't these multi-million dollar companies write a good story? Literally pull any random guy who plays Dungeons and Dragons for fun out of like a game store who DMs all the time that people recommend, specifically that people recommend. Don't just take a complete random one. Have them write your story. I guarantee you, you will have absolute peak fiction written into your game. And the reason I'm bringing this up today is because genuinely, I am just so tired of waiting for an MMO and then nothing happening, or just a game in general. I'm tired of waiting for a game and then it just being like a like slop. The devs are like, yeah, good enough. Yeah, yeah, that was good enough. We did it. It's like, no, it's not good enough. It genuinely isn't. And people always say, oh, well, it's for the profit. They make more money. No, they don't. If your game dies after a month of playtime, you're not going to make more money than if your game lives for 12 years. I mean, I think World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, and Guild Wars is the perfect examples of this. We had these games for years. They've made probably millions to not hundreds of millions to maybe even billions of dollars, right? And you know what? Not a singular one of them is paid to win. I have played every single one. There is no way to pay to win in them. You just have to play the game and grind them out. And it's crazy to me that companies don't think that people like those anymore. They don't like the grindy game or something like that. It's like, no, they like the grindy game, but they want to grind and feel rewarded. Like, I can't preference this enough. It's the same thing if you go play Call of Duty. It's the same thing if you go play Tarkov. It's the same thing if you go play Valorant. People want to grind and feel rewarded. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day, is that MMOs don't reward anyone anymore for playing their game. Like I was playing TerraSlam for a little bit, wanted to check it out, give it a little bit of a review. TerraSlam is basically copy and paste of World of Warcraft, and they were doing like pretty good with it, but then they just stopped. They just stopped caring about the game. It became this tedious loop where how the game would work is every single week they would release new content, essentially, which was cool. I was like, okay, I'm down for this. This means like in a month or two, we're gonna be on the ground floor of like this massive world. I was wrong. Instead, they just kept pumping out dungeons. It's like, dude, people don't want to just run dungeons all day. Who is making these games? And like, obviously, I know that these games are from other countries, like I said, but then it's like, why doesn't like these companies ever have a meeting about the game or how the players interact with the game or player feedback or anything like that? I feel like a lot of these companies these days, especially for video games, they make it. They might have like a guy in the company test it. They don't even get like actual outside testers anymore. And then they just go, all right, good enough. We'll go ahead and we'll throw that out there for you. Oh yeah, I really appreciate that one because I really wanted to spend $80 on a game so I can load in and it crashes for the first week, and then after that, uh, you know, the game is just unplayable because it's so buggy. Not naming any names, but Wayfinder. But yeah, it's just super annoying. Like I don't understand why it's so difficult. And this is from someone, by the way. I want to preface this too. This isn't just like, oh well, you're just gonna playing, you know nothing about the code or anything, dude. I'm not a genius. I'm gonna say this now. I'm not a genius. I didn't, you know, go work for Blizzard for 500 years. Niche reference, if you know. But I learned how to code a decent amount and did code like some minimal games while I was in high school. And I had friends who coded with me and like made minimal games. Like I had a friend who was making like a actual Star Wars game where it would take you real life time to get to places. And, like he would sit the entire class in warp speed because he had to go across the universe. It was like so silly, but it was so cool too. So it's so interesting to me to see people be like, "Oh well, it's too much hard work." You have millions of dollars. What? Like, yeah, it's hard work, but that's kind of what you sign up for. Is hard work. You put a couple million in, you get hundreds, if not billions of dollars back. Because if you make a true masterpiece, people will love it. And I think it's this simple. Game like World of Warcraft with those graphics, like maybe a little bit more clean, just cleaned up a little bit, but infinite skins, infinite mounts. You have action combat. Action combat's just the new in right now. But you make it. Here's where you get them. You make it where you can do action combat, or you can make it where you can do tab targeting. People would eat that up. You can just do either or. It doesn't matter. And you just change it in the setting. You just change between tab targeting or action combat. And action combat is just like a third person bubble POV, and tab targeting is like normal POV where you can like go super high up and be like super crazy for the more classic players. And then it's gonna sound crazy. You make a good player trading market, okay? You make it like World of Warcraft, Guild Wars, Elder Scrolls Online. I know people hate on Elder Scrolls Online, but their trading market is amazing in that game. It like I like the idea of being able to have individual outposts for your guild, and then your guild is selling stuff instead of it just being like you're selling it on a player market. I feel like it's a little bit more interactive. Oh, here's the next thing: add guilds. Whoa, whoa! Like I don't know, man. I feel like I could probably do a live stream, and like get viewers in and stuff like that, like or try to get viewers in, and come up with probably 50 ideas that would lock a MMO into being the greatest MMO of all time. Like one that would earn billions of dollars and would continue to evolve over time. Because the big issue so many face, not even MMOs, but games in general, is they just don't evolve, you know? like let's say like Black Ops 2, probably one of the best games ever created was Black Ops 2. So Black Ops 2, imagine if they just continued to update it and update like anti-cheat, continued to update like uh like all their stuff for it. Like instead of Ed coming out with new Call of Duties, what if they just took Black Ops 2 and updated the anti-cheat, updated it to a new system, made it where when you transfer from a new system, if you're on an old system, maybe you got like a code, so you got it for free. You make it where you can add a little bit of mods to the community. You make it where you add war instead of Warzone in Warzone or Modern Warfare, you add Warzone to Black Ops 2. It's like just imagine how crazy it would have been if they would have done that. And I say this with like any game, by the way. Like if they continue to evolve it to its peak potential, you'll just make so much more. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to rant about today. This was kind of a long one because I'm very passionate about this because I like video games and I would like to also invest into the creation of video games. That's why a lot of the times you guys might see me form up an opinion like really early on about a video game and then change it later on. You know, it happens sometimes. But what's a game that you guys were looking forward to that maybe was just a absolute utter flop and you could be like, wow, if they just put a little bit more effort into this, a little bit more elbow grease, maybe we would have got a peak game. Let me know that in the comments below. But hope you guys enjoyed. Have a wonderful night. Peace.